And welcome to the Big Gunner Podcast. Well, I'll tell you what, you're not going to see many better NFL football games than what we went through as a Giants fan this weekend. Cowboys 40, Giants 37 in overtime. Just an unbelievably frustrating game as a Giant fan, knowing that we had it, scoring late on a neighbor's bomb with 25 seconds to go. And then I'll get into it a little bit about the defensive alignments and what we did defensively in the final 20 seconds to let them tie. And the way the NFL kickers are today, hitting long field goals and another 60-yarder to tie or beat us. I think it's like the fourth one in the last 5-6 years that have done us in. Just really frustrating, but see some upside. A lot better offensively, obviously. Offensive line was way better. We'll get into it real quick. Just starting off, really to start off the game, the first series with James Hudson getting 4 penalties is just unacceptable. Again, I can get into this at some point, but we'll get into the Joe Shane free agent moves. Another one that looks like a kind of bust, that we get a guy in here to give us depth on the offensive line, and we end up going to our fifth round pick, who played extremely well at left tackle. So I saw the upside of Marcus Mabel coming in and playing very well. So it looks like our $11 million 2-year deal with James Hudson is going to be wasted, because if I was me, I would have cut him tomorrow. You just can't have that. Jameis Winston on the sidelines trying to talk to him. Love what Jameis is trying to do from a culture standpoint with this team, but you just can't have a player making personal fouls and head slapping and stuff that he knows is against the rules. It's just undisciplined football. And when you're trying to get to a certain point where you're trying to be a 500 team or win a couple games, you can't have that kind of ball. But Russell Wilson looked fantastic. Again, the Giants made a couple plays with Jackson Dart, all run plays. We're interested. We'll get into that too. But I thought Russell Wilson was fantastic. I thought he wasn't the problem in game one. So I hope that the Giants fans and everybody in the base decides to put Jackson Dart on hold for a little bit. I'm sure if we, with Kansas City coming in, the 0-2 Chiefs, which is a really tough spot for us to be in as a 6-point dog, or later in the week. We'll talk about that as we get forward with Defoe and everybody, and on Barrier Bookie and on Bleacher Brothers. But man, schedule tough, as everybody said. I thought we would get one of these 2 games at least. We had one. We had this Dallas game, and we let it get away. But we'll go through position by position, as I will now. The quarterback I thought was fantastic. Russell throws for 450, probably one of the great Giant games of all time, throwing deep shots all day long. The running back, Cam Scatterbo, we got our first real consistent look at him. He was 11 for 48, I believe. 11 for, as I look this up right now, should have known this. He was 11 for 45, but 24 yards came on the first play that Jackson Dart ran, where what Jackson Dart provide us in these situations is the ability for the edges to not come and apply pressure, because we know Russell Wilson's going to try to throw from the pocket. Dart offers that mobility, and what he did was slow down the push, made the defense back up a little bit, and then Scatterbo breaks an inside run for 24 yards. So if you go after that, Scatterbo was 10 for 21. Our offensive line is still struggling in the run game. Russell Wilson has a broken play for 15 yards. So if you take that play at the end of the game when he ran right before the touchdown to Neighbors, he broke pocket and ran for 15 yards. So if you take without the 15-yard long run and the Scatterbo run, the 15-yard run for 39 yards, we were 19 carries for 45 yards. A little over 2 yards a carry. It's unacceptable. We need to get better in the run game, and it needs to work. We'll need a run game this week, especially because we have to be more versatile in offense, because Kansas City comes at you. They're a much better defense than the Cowboys, and we have to figure out the way to go. As far as the receiving core, I mean, they were fantastic. Malik Neighbors, 9 for 167. Wan'Dale Robinson, 8 for 142. We didn't have any bad drops. Theo Johnson caught everything thrown at him, made a great play in the first series. Darius Slayton, 2 for 61, caught a great deep ball shot. I mean, you throw for 450, you got to win the game. And, for me, I thought it was fantastic. As far as the O-line goes, I thought they played much better. Not much in a run game, but pass blocking was fantastic. I think Dallas had, 3? So I looked this up. Dallas had 3 sacks on Russell Wilson. And you didn't even realize they had 3 sacks, because you couldn't even tell it happened. I think one was on the first series that we bounced back after that and got 3 points. But as I go through this right now, I feel like what we should do on the offensive line is get Andrew Thomas back, Runyon, Schmitz, move Eleanor inside the guard, and move Mabo out to right tackle. That's what I think the line should be moving forward. And I think if we do that, we will win football games. If the defense can hold up, right now we have the 32nd ranked defense, which I'll get into about Shane Bowen shortly because they were calling for his head online. I just look at it like we just have to figure a way to win games. And I think the pressure on the coaching staff is immense. I love Brian Dable. I'm more in question looking at our team after 2 weeks. I'm more in question of Joe Shane than I am Brian Dable. We're trying to put the best product out there player wise, and it doesn't look it. I can get into the free agents that we have, but that was the thing for me was I just look at it like, what are we doing personnel wise? But for giving up over 900 yards, well, like 90 yards more than any other team in the league right now, not working. So, that's really the whole case for me. I just kind of feel like, we got to find a way defensively to be better. You score 37 points, you expect to win the game. Bottom line. So on the defensive side of the ball, I thought Thibodeau was pretty good. Brian Burns was his usual self. Need to see a little bit more out of Carter. A lot of people are happy with his play. I saw play in the overtime where looked like he had a push. He got stopped and he backed off, and then the ball was thrown over his head to Williams, and he looked like he didn't fight back on the screen. All these comparisons to 56. When Lawrence Taylor used to play, he would blow up his own teammates getting to the ball carrier, explode to the ball carrier. It looked like Carter was a little tired. And I think what I saw out of our front was the lack of play in the preseason or football conditioning. It seemed like that we tired off later in the game. Dexter Lawrence was okay in the run game, but we haven't seen what I really want, a top-notch play of Dexter Lawrence. You don't really look at him as being that top tackle in the game right now. The way he's playing, we need a little bit more there. Darius Alexander got on the field, looked a little lost this week. He had 15 plays, third-round pick. Probably going to have to see him develop. We missed Noches, Roy Robinson Harris, 2 personal fouls. Questionable at best. I don't fault him for him. He's just playing the game. I thought they were really tough calls protecting the quarterback, but he's got to know that. And I need a little bit more out of him. These are the free agent signings that we make, and a little bit more. Bobby Okereke had 10 tackles. There's getting some heat for his play, but he leads the league in tackles with 26 after 2 games, so you get what you want out of him. The injury to Micah McFadden is startling. I think we are seeing on our offside drops, on our inside linebacker, Mosau. We ended up going to moving him out of the lineup as he got nicked up later in the game. It just seems like that the inside backer is not moving up to position. Andrew Phillips, 11 tackles. It's not good when your slot corner is making 11 tackles. Paulson Adebo, 13 tackles. Not good. It means they're passing on him and he has to make tackles in the passing game. Tyler Newbin was fantastic. Javonde Holland, I don't have a problem with. I would go on record right now and say Javonde Holland might be the best free agent signing that Joe Shane has had. That's my call. That's how weak we've been. We had 2 games in. I'm already thinking he's the best. Runyon struggled week 1, looked better in week 2. We paid him last year. You've got to look at our director, and I've talked about this in the past, our pro player personnel observations and what we're doing to critique players throughout the league that we bring in is not working. We don't have that free agent that we need to make a difference. It's not happening. So I think we have to go back to the drawing board with a little money left and make a move or see what happens. Rumors we trade Russell Wilson to Cincinnati because the quarterbacks are dropping. Quarterbacks are dropping all over the league. I think we had 7 of them that are going to be out or questionable this week. There might be some value. I don't want to give away Jameis Winston, but people might become calling for these guys. If you're going to make that move and someone comes calling and you get some value, then it might change the way we're going to look at the season. But right now, I do not want to make a move at quarterback. I like what Russell Wilson's providing us. Right now, he leads the league in passing, most passing yards in the league. You're not going to give up the guy. I thought his deep ball throws were just fantastic. And right now, I want to keep it where it is. Offensively, we bounced back from 6 points to score 37. Tells me it's not on the offense after last week. We got to get on the defense. But what I really want to talk about is, at the end of that game, we get the touchdown with 25 seconds left. And on the broadcast, Joe Davis is letting the crowd play into it. One thing I did not like that we did is I saw Theo Johnson and Dan Bellinger looking at the crowd, pumping their fist, and all that. I looked at defensive players getting excited that are going on the field in the next few minutes or seconds, getting in and high-fiving players. When the Giants, we were trying to upgrade our culture in the locker room and getting a liver sidelines when I was there in '84. The defense and offense didn't really get along at that point because we had these struggles where the defense was highly competitive in every game and the offense couldn't score 20 points for years. But I think you have to keep your focus on what your job is at hand. And the job at that 25 seconds was for the coordinator and defensive coaches to get their players together and get them focused on the plays that have to happen. Because Dallas, correctly stated by Greg Olson, the color guy, I watched it again yesterday because I'm not paying attention to this, as Joe Davis lets the fans go and goes crazy for Neighbors' great catch, unbelievable catch where he was blinded, hitting the helmet. I don't think he really saw the ball into his hands. I think the ball fell into his hands. That's what a perfect throw it was by Russell Wilson. He said, touchdown Neighbors, and everybody's going exciting. And then about 30 to 45 seconds, Greg Olson says, this is a very important extra point, and Dallas still has 25 seconds and 3 timeouts. Think about that. Greg Olson is actually stating what I am thinking at the same time, is that this game is far from over. And so there you go. The new kickoff rule comes into play. Gano makes the extra point. We take 6 seconds off the clock as they bring the ball out to the 32-yard line. Okay, not bad, But you have to realize with a kicker like Audrey that you are playing a regular game. A prevent defense will not work in this situation. It's harder to tackle these guys today. So you got to anticipate a potential missed tackle in that situation. So even if they dump off the ball, we have to run to the ball and make a tackle. But the ball can go anywhere because they got 3 timeouts. So technically, at 25 seconds, kickoff at 19, they got 3 plays to kick a field goal. So you have to play this 3 plays straight up. The deep ball doesn't matter at that point. What you're trying to do is prevent 15 plays. If you want a guy to go downfield at that point, you have a too high safety making a play. But underneath, you have to play a little bit of press or a 2 or 3 yard press. You can't drop off 10 yards. And what the Giants did was they rushed 4 on the first play, and Thibodeau made a fantastic effort to hit Prescott's arm, starting a second down. Here's where I get confused. There's a review on the play because the ball acted like a fumble. So the clock goes down to 8 or 7 seconds. They stop the play. They go back. Replay review in the booth reviews the play. So you had an extra 15 or 20 seconds there that the players realize they're stopping and they're resting. What do I see? Our guy who just hit the quarterback is sitting on the sidelines on second down. That I will never understand. You want your best guys out there. Thibodeau's having a great beginning of the season. Stay on the field, dude. I don't know what happened. Are you winded? You hit? I saw him. He was huffing and puffing. The stress of this game. So now you're down to 14 seconds, and this is the play that bothers me. You play straight up regular defense like it's a first quarter, first play. You don't drop. And what happens is Dane Belton drops past the 50, and the ball goes whizzing right by his head. Like he doesn't even see that Ferguson's coming into his area. He's playing a zone defense where he's just guarding that place. And Prescott throws it right next to him. We probably could hear the ball going by, and there's the catch at the 48-yard line. That's it. 49-yard line. There, Dallas has the ball. Right now I'm saying to myself, he's going to make it from 65. That was my fault with the whole thing. So they have 8 seconds left, and then sure enough, they run the play, and Williams goes down for 2 yards. Not that they needed it. And they line up for a 64-yard field goal and tie the game. I fought this on the coverage, on the defensive coordinator, not knowing these situations. And I don't know what happens, who's upstairs, who's watching film, what analytics guy is there, whatever they're doing. But I can tell you, we always just say to prevent you from winning a game. That's what it did in this case. You have to play straight up, play bump. Who cares if they get deep? They're going to get 3 anyway. They have to make a long pass, and these guys are accurate. But your safeties can come over and cover that deep ball. You rush 3 guys on that second play. Yeah, you get to them on the first play. Now it's all about tackling in the field of play and keeping them inside the 50. You're really playing like it's a 30-yard end zone because if he gets it to the 25, it's good. So we were listening to some people, and they were talking about that where years past, it used to be you have to get to the 30 to make an automatic field goal. You have the best kicker in the league who's got a 65 career long who makes 60-yarders like their chip shots. That was my frustration. And Greg Olson knew it, and I knew it, and that's why I thought we were going overtime. Then in the overtime, this is where play number 2 that bothers me. We stop them. We give up the ball, we stop them. On the first series, Neighbors 13 yards. Great call, right? Got the ball up from the 20, 15-yard line up to the 30. Next play, Neighbors slant, breaks a tackle, 8 yards. 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3. Great play. What do? They run the same play, and it looks like the route was going to get jumped, and Russell Wilson tries to pull the ball back, and the ball goes backwards, and we lose 15 yards. Run the ball. All you got to do is call a run. You have Scatterboo. Who cares? We're not in a rush. We did not run the ball once in 2 possessions in overtime. That was my frustration with Kafka. So right now, this is my assumption, and I'll get to the end of this. I believe that our coaching staff as a whole is so desperate to win that we lose it a little bit. The pressure's mounting on us. I love Brian Daboll. I was happy. One of the rare guys was happy they didn't fire him. I just think we all got to take a step back and relax. That game to me gave me more weeks with Russell Wilson, gave me more weeks with Brian Daboll. And I am going to look at James Hudson, who cost us 4 points, and one decision that I saw in the Jacksonville game that cost the cover and in the Giant game. We get the interception by Phillips, which is a change of possession. 13-10. We get the ball. We go for it on 4th down in the 3rd quarter with 8 minutes to go. If we take the 3, we win the game. Tiki Barber eloquently brought this up. I was thinking it right away. You take the points. Arguing with my guys on a thread. You take the points. You're up 16. If it's 4-7, I might not think. I think harder about it because it still means a touchdown beats you. But at that particular point, a field goal ties you. Now I know there's plenty of time, and obviously they scored 50 more points as a whole than what was on the board at the time. But if we took that 3 and gave up the field position, 20 yards of field position, I would have done that at the time. So yeah, they get the ball at the 12-yard line or 13-yard line, you do it. And then what happens? Dallas goes down and scores a touchdown, 17-13, right? We go down, next series, kick a field goal. Now we'd be up 19-17. And if it comes down to at the end, they would have needed a touchdown to beat us. That's my point. That is my thought behind the whole thing. That the play calling and the decision making for Daboll not to kick a field goal was my issues with the coaching in this game. So anyway, Chiefs come into town, Sunday Night Football, national TV game. Heard a good bit on up in New York about how the Chiefs are not going to lose this game because the league doesn't want the Chiefs to go 1-3 with all the popularity of the team and the Taylor Swift-Kelsey engagement, and you can't have the Chiefs getting out there. But here's what I saw last week by Philly. Chiefs looked a little bit desperate in that game. Philly looked like they were in control the whole game. Played hard, lack of emotion, kind of weren't composed. Never saw Patrick Mahomes miss a throw to Thornton when he had him open by 20 yards and completely missed him. Making a lot of plays with his feet. This is an interesting game for them because they have Baltimore next week. So are they really knowing what happens if they get a win here? Their season can get up in arms when they play up and blown off the rails if Baltimore beats them. So you never know. I'm not saying looking past this because you're 0-2. That's why I really wanted to see him win. But I mean, it's just a really tough spot we're in because I just don't see Kansas City going 0-3. But we'll see what happens. By the way it looked this week, they got some film to watch on us because offensively we can exploit them a little bit. But they are a lot better defensive team in their front 7 than Dallas. Our offensive line is going to be tough, and we can't figure out a way to run the ball. So if they start teeing off on Russell Wilson, it's going to get ugly fast. I'm not saying I like the Giants. I mean, I saw the line go to 4.5. I kind of thought after that game I wouldn't have bet Dallas, but I kind of like this a little bit. So we're 1-1. This week, I'm a little scared about this game just because of the urgency the Chiefs are going to have coming into Giant Stadium. So we'll talk later in the week about that. As far as our baseball tonight, we'll get over it again. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so we got the Braves playing a doubleheader today. Suarez and Irvin in Game 1. I kind of like the Nationals there to take Game 1. Sale and Gore in Game 2. I kind of like the Braves in Game 2. So that's a split doubleheader, which usually happens. Cubs, we got to get Paul Skeens today in Pittsburgh. I kind of like Skeens to get it done. I know the Cubs need the game, but they're kind of secure in their wild card spot. So I think only laying 129 with Skeens might be a play. Padres come in to play the Mets in New York. The Mets laying 118, really struggling. Padres get a break last night as the Dodgers lose. I might like the Padres in this game. King comes back to New York, former ex-Yankee, to pitch against the Mets. Reds against the Cards. Abbott's been better. Reds need the game. They're pressing. They're laying 117. I don't agree. He's been good. He's got the tools, but he's been struggling. Marlins Rockies. I don't know. Maybe the Marlins get some games going here. They had a 2 out of 3 against Detroit, laying 139 against the Rockies in Freeland. You don't know. Giants have a starter against Rodriguez who pitches well, but look out. Here come the Diamondbacks after all those trades. They're right there, right in front of your eyes. They're a game and a half back out of the last wild card. So all of a sudden they're making a run. So these Giants but Diamondback games are important out there. Kind of like the D-backs momentum right now. Christopher Sanchez and Ohtani today. Ohtani laying 130. I'm going to go with the Phillies again. Ohtani's not going to pitch more than 5 innings. They got to the Dodgers bullpen yesterday again. Sheehan looked good. Give me the Phillies, the hottest team in baseball, plus 120. Guardians, Tigers. Tigers coming back. Mize and Cantillo. Do the Tigers put their foot on and win the division now? That's the next case. I think the Tigers probably on the spot. A's, Springs and against the Red Sox. Tough game, probably would pass. Blue Jays and Rays. Pepio's been pitching very well. I kind of like him in this spot against the Blue Jays. Lay 104, get a little bit of price there. Gilbert and Waka, the Mariners red hot. Got to ride the Mariners until they start losing. Baltimore White Sox, like Shane Smith a lot. Kremer's not as good on the road. Might like the White Sox in the spot. Yankees, Schittler and Matthews. Yankees laying 150 only. Yankees get beat last night. I think they might bounce back. Rangers and Astros, Kelly and Bluebot, kind of like the Rangers. Just keep it close. Kelly's their best starter right now with Uvalde out, lay 114. And the Angels and the Brewers, Freddie Peralta against Dana, kind of like the Brewers here, that lay 248, but probably won't lay it. Early lines in the NFL. As we look across the board, we see some NFL lines. We'll talk a little bit of college over Defo on Thursday. Real quick, Dolphins and Bills. I kind of like the Bills. I think they put the Dolphins in their submission. We start hearing the McDaniel rumors of being fired, lay 11.5 there. Colts and Titans. Colts are 3.5. Boy, you got to like what the Colts are doing. A little lucky. I think if they don't get that break by the referee, this line's a little lower. Might like Tennessee in this spot. Cover 3.5. First road game for Daniel Jones as quarterback of Tennessee. Last time he was there, he had a great win for the Giants. Brian Dable's first win, so it should be interesting to see if that bounce back. Falcons were very impressive Sunday night, laying 5 to the Panthers. Got to figure the Panthers might have got something in the fourth quarter there, but Atlanta's looking really tough. No line yet. Raiders and Commanders due to the injuries of Jaden Daniels. Packers, Browns. I don't know. Packers laying 8 on the road, first road game. Maybe they're overinflated there. Might like Cleveland in the spot, plus the 8. Bengals, Vikings. Vikings laying 3. 2 quarterbacks that are going to be out this week. Who's got the depth? I like the game. Cincinnati, maybe a game to go over in this game, 42. Rams, Eagles. Eagles laying 3.5 against the Rams. Rams have a little vengeance here. Revenge factor game. See the line being a little low is interesting. Don't really have a play on that. Steelers laying 1 at New England. Tough game there. Might like what the Patriots are doing there. Good win against Miami. No play real. Jets, Buccaneers, kind of the Fields is questionable. Might be out. Bucks look very impressive Monday night. Mayfield got a little nicked up. Gonna wait for the reports. Probably the Jet Bucks will be around 5.5, 6, I think, in that game. Bucks were impressive. Bucky Irvin is a stud. Texans, Jaguars. Texans desperate, 0-2. Can't go to 0-3 with the else on there. I think Texans probably get the win there. Broncos, Chargers. That should be a great game. Chargers 2.5 over Denver. Chargers are impressive coming off the level after their left tackle being out. Playing pretty well. Looked good last night. Lost Khalil Mack, though, so that might be an injury. That's going to be a tough game. Less than 2.5 tells you Denver. Saints, Seahawks. I think that's going to be a tough spot for Spencer Rattler up there. I think the Seahawks win that game big. Cowboys, Bears. That's another interesting game. Boy, I might like the Bears in this spot to get their first win. Cowboys just didn't look impressive to me. 49ers, Cards. Very interesting game. Cards playing extremely well. Might like the Cards in this spot just because of the injury factors with the 49ers. Chiefs, Giants. Tough to bet the Giants in this spot. And then the Ravens and the Lions Monday night. Maybe the Lions wrote the ship. Maybe I like the Lions plus the 5.5, although they got destroyed last time they played there a few years ago, lost by 30. But that wasn't this Lions team that we have now. So that's a little recap of the NFL. We'll give you a couple best bets in the college as I scan through here. a couple of big games this week that as I scoop by. South Carolina's getting 13.5 from Missouri. You kind of would like them if Sellers plays, but that was an eye opener how Vanderbilt beat them up pretty good. So kind of like I would say probably Missouri 13.5 that's a very interesting line. I think you're waiting on a quarterback's play. North Carolina goes down to South Central Florida. Did Bill Belichick with the two weaker opponents right the ship? I don't know. Maybe UCF laid a 6.5 as Belichick's first big test. UNLV, interesting, goes to Miami of Ohio to play a MAC team. UNLV is 3-0. They are a 2.5-point favorite. Don't know that I like them in that spot. Florida 7.5 against Miami. Miami very impressive against them. If you look at common opponents, you have to like Miami in this game, but for some reason I think that could be closer than people think. Clemson 17 over Syracuse. Has to be a win for Clemson in this spot. 17, a lot of points, but I think that's going to have to be a game that Clemson has to go to step on them if they're going to either compete with the ACC or get back into the mix for the tournament, which I think they will miss. I don't think they'll make the playoff. Florida State's laying 46 to Kent State. That could be another one of those blowouts. Some good scheduling for Florida State. Big 12 game, Big 10, I'm sorry. Maryland, Wisconsin, 9.5. Wisconsin, tough spot there. Wisconsin, not as what they're looking at before. Might like Maryland in that spot. We're scrolling down. Oregon State, 36 might not be enough for Oregon. I think they might have put the hammer down. Oregon State seems to have lost it. Auburn, Oklahoma, great game. Very interesting there. Might like Oklahoma, lay 6.5 in the game against Auburn. That could be very interesting. Oklahoma looks like they got something material. Looks like he's the real deal. I don't usually like taking favorites in SEC games, but I might take him here. Michigan State and USC. I think Michigan State keeps it close, 17.5 points. Keeps it close. I know it's a weird number. Michigan laying 2.5 in Nebraska. That'll be some game, 3:30 game. Don't really have a play on that game. Might like Brett Rule at home. Notre Dame laying 26 to Purdue. I like Purdue in that spot. Barry Odom, the coach, who's retooled the UNLV program. I think Purdue keeps Notre Dame side. I think Notre Dame has a little bit of carryover from that really tough loss to Texas A&M. So I kind of like Purdue getting 26.5 in that spot. We talked about Missouri, South Carolina, 13.5. Waiting to see on Sellers. If Sellers doesn't play, I think Missouri might be the play there. I think he's derailed the season. Georgia State and Vanderbilt. Watch out for Vanderbilt now, laying 27. I know it's a big number. I don't think I've ever seen Vanderbilt lay 27, which might be a reason to take them. And that's it. So there's no real big games that I see on the board. A very slow week, but we'll see. Oh, Utah, Texas Tech. There you go. Utah laying 3 to Texas Tech. That'll be the game of the weekend. That should be fantastic. Texas Tech's first real test. Might like Utah in the spot, lay to 3 at home. I'm a huge Texas Tech fan and think they will contend for the Big 12 title. So this is the Big 12 game of the year so far. So we'll be watching that one. All right. So we'll see with Defo on tomorrow on Bleacher Brothers. Thursday, bury your bookie. Right back. We appreciate everybody for listening. Go Big Blue. Just need to get something going here. We found a little bit offensively this week. Hopefully we get a little bit more. But can we steal a game against the Chiefs? That's the whole big part. I don't know if we can, but I didn't like that the Chiefs lost. I was rooting like hard for them just because I can't stand Philly anyway, but that's it. One last stat I want to give you. The Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley curse that we got, a curse of our Bambino. They are now 21-3 as they left New York. Where without Andrew Thomas playing a complete game, we are 3-19 in the last 2+ years. These things have to change, and statistics usually change in this, so hopefully maybe something will happen to our benefit. See you next week, Big Gunner Podcast. Or we might come back on Sunday and do something before the game as we get closer to kickoff and find out a little bit more what the media is out there, maybe some injury reports, and maybe we see that some of the struggles that the Chiefs are having. Hopefully we'll talk about them then. Let's go Blue.